A very good morning, class 12. Today we will be starting with the chapter that is biodiversity and conservation. Biodiversity or biological diversity is the occurrence of different types of ecosystem. I told you about the ecosystem where we have studied about the food chain and food web. Different species of organism and their variant with the biotype. Biotype means where they will be in the different geographical area. Ecotypes and gene adapted to different climates and environment of different region, including their interaction and processes. So over here the interaction and processes is meaning over here that in a particular geographical area the different type of species which will be residing in that geographical area, over here the interaction between the species. Okay, this term was coined by Edward Wilson. Okay. In some books, it is also written that the term biodiversity was also coined by Rosen. That is Rosen. Rosen. The vast array of species of microorganisms, algae, fungi, plants, and animals occurring on the earth earlier in the terrestrial or aquatic habitats and the ecological complexes of which they are parting or comprises of the biodiversity. Biodiversity over here, which includes the three interrelated hierarchical levels, that is genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. These are the three important biological diversity that we have to study about. So bacteria, fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperm, all the living organisms which are forming biological diversity over here means the different type of diversity which is divided into biodiversity, variety of living things, number and the kind. First, we are going to study about the ecological diversity. We can say that this ecological diversity where in the different habitats, the niches, the species interaction in the food chain, and these assembly of these species which is occurring in that geographical area, because each and everyone is related to each other, and the different species, the different kind of organism which is forming the biodiversity, so which refers to the number of kind of species which is found in particular geographical area. Genetic diversity. Do you remember the beetle experiment? The beetle experiment where they the change in the color in the beetles, in the red, in the blue, and the green. So different genes and combination of genes within the population, which allows the population of a species to adapt according to the environmental changes, environmental conditions. The important diversity at the level of biological organization is genetic diversity, species diversity, ecological diversity. So you have to go through it. It is very important. Over here, now Wolffia vomitoria shows the genetic variation in terms of concentration, and India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of rice and 1,000 variety of the mangoes. Okay, species diversity which can easily be visible in the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats in India itself. India shows a great variety of biodiversity, ecological diversity too. Biodiversity and its conservation are vital environmental issues of international concern as more and more people around the world begin to realize the critical importance of biodiversity because of the deforestation, a very important reason behind it. According to IUCN, the total number of plant and species described so far is about 1.5 million, but still many species are yet to be discovered and described more as daily more diversity is being described. More than 70% of all the species recorded are animals, while rest 30%, which includes the algae, fungi, bryophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperm. Among animals, 70% of total are insects. The number of fungi species in the world is more than the combined total of species, fishes, amphibians, reptiles. This can be asked as a question. What is the reason behind? Because fungi are decomposers which decompose the dead organic matter. This is the exact image of the NCRT showing the biodiversity representing the global biodiversity, proportionate number of species, that of invertebrates, vertebrates, and plants. Biodiversity in India, it is a well explained topic, and it shows the different biodiversity ranges in India. Okay. India is a biocenter of origin of cultivated plants. World Heritage Site is also present over here. Biogeography key is the study of origin, environmental relationship, distribution of plants and animals. India has only about 2.4% of the land area of the world, but it has 8.1% of the total global species biodiversity. It has got 45,000 species of plants and 90,000 to 1 lakh species of animals. You should feel proud of it. Applying the Roberts May global estimate, only 22% of total species have been recorded. India has only more than 1 lakh species of plants and 3 lakh species of animals to be discovered and described yet. What are the patterns of biodiversity? Now over here comes important, that what are the patterns? That is the latitudinal gradient. Over here we are going to study over here. Okay. And then we are going to study more about it. That is the according to the region, geographical region. Latitudinal gradient, the diversity of plants and animals is not uniform throughout the world and shows uneven distribution. This distribution pattern is along the latitudinal gradient in diversity. This point is important, and species diversity decreases as we move away from the equator towards the pole. Trophic harbor more species than temperate. You should know some geography over here, the trophic and the temperate region. Amazonian rainforest has the greatest biodiversity on the earth. This point to be noted, important. It has more than 40,000 species of plants and many more of insects and fishes and amphibians and reptiles and birds and mammals, and various hypotheses are being there. The first is speciation is a function of time. Unlike the temperate region subjected to frequent glaciation in the past, tropical latitudes have remained relatively undistributed for millions of years. So there was an evolution, there is a hypothesis. Tropical environment, unlike temperate, are less seasonal and more constant. I actually over there the more constant type of temperature remains, and that can be the reason behind. Okay, there is more solar energy available in the tropic, which contribute to the higher productivity. This in turn contribute indirectly to greater diversity. Next is the species area relationship. Now, what happened that Alexander von Humboldt, German naturalist and geographer he was, and while working on the species of South American jungles, found that a specific place species richness increased with the increasing the explored area. This is important over here. But at such places, this is the equation which he gave. But at such places, the increase in species richness was only up to a certain extent. A rectangular hyperbola is obtained for relation between species richness and region. This happens for a wide range of taxa like birds, bat, freshwater fishes, and angiosperm. So relationship is of straight line on logarithm scale, like that is given first, that is log s is equal to log c plus z log a. So s is the species, a is the area, z is the regression coefficient slope of line, and y is the intercept over here. In any type of taxonomic group of region, value of z comes between 0.1 to 0.2. This value is similar. Example for plants in UK, birds in California, mollusks in New York. But if then the large continent are taken into account for this type of studies, the Z value differs and it comes from between zero point 0.6 to 1.2. Even the slope of line is much steeper. When Z is studied, it comes equal to 1.15 for the frugivorous, that is the fruit eating birds, also in mammals of the tropical forest of different continent. Okay, so over here this graph is showing the richness of the species with the area, the number of species which are there, and how it is helpful. Okay, this is implying the scientist over here is telling about that how it is differing. Okay, I hope so that this is clear to you. It is very important because it can come as a long question also for you all. Okay, so according to the Roberts May global estimate, only 22% of species have been recorded. This is important. Richness of India, the biodiversity of India is important. And secondly, this is species area relationship, which is also very important. So you have to just go through it and also go through the different species variation of the western and the eastern parts of India. Thank you, class.